Okay, guys. So meanwhile, so the next session for us is from an idea to a device by Dr. Rupesh Gyar. Dr. Rupesh Gyar is a senior executive officer at the Biomedical Engineering and Technology Incubation Center, BETIC, a multidisciplinary and a multi-institutional translational R&D center for innovative medical devices. He is involved in developmental.
Continue, Garima. I think
Okay.
sir is
Okay, so he is involved in developmental strategy and translational research activities of the center in order to develop affordable, innovative medical devices suitable for Indian population. He has been involved in innovating and filed patents of several medical devices, including diagnostics, prosthetic, and surgical, with 16 patents and 8 publications. He is a serial innovator and closely mentors several medical device innovators from the country with more than 10-year rich experience. He worked for 6 years as senior research associate in OrthoCAD Network Research Cell at IIT Bombay. Earlier, he was a business development manager for OSIM India, an orthopedic implant manufacturer. He holds a master degree in bioengineering from University of Strathclyde, UK, and completed in 2005 after his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Government College of Engineering, Pune in 2003. Dr. Rupesh has mentored and guided several MTech and BTech students at IIT Bombay in projects. He has also been invited for several talks and conferences, including TEDx. He was also involved in conducting a medical device innovation camp and hackathon for innovative minds for more than 150 people, including several engineers, doctors, designers, entrepreneurs all over the India. We are really happy to have you with us, sir. Over to you, Rupesh, sir.
Yeah, I think it's uploaded. Great.
Yes, sir. It is there.
Yeah, hello everyone. Am I audible? That's fine.
Yes, sir. You are audible and visible.
Okay, great. So I'm Dr. Rupesh Khyar. I'm the Senior Executive Officer at BETIC. BETIC stands for Biomedical Engineering and Technology Incubation Center. And this center is at IIT Bombay, which focuses on developing medical devices. So primary reason why we exist is trying to connect doctors, researchers, entrepreneurs, investors to make indigenous affordable medical devices. Our vision is from an idea to invention to innovation to impact. And the mission is always from bedside if there is a problem to bench, which is engineering bench, to business to make sure that actually it goes back to bedside. The patient gets benefited. That is our interest. This is also headed by Professor B. Ravi, who is the Institute Chair Professor at Mechanical Engineering Department of IIT Bombay. So please listen to this as more of a story, and I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. I'll just request that this is not like a lecture. This is not a typical uh, presentation where you can take notes. It's more of a journey. These are people who were passionate, committed. There were real life problems, and how did these doctors, engineers, researchers, entrepreneurs they came together, and we developed some medical devices. This is the story basically. So next slide I'll just put up is you must have seen this. Um, yeah, typically what is known as Jugaad, Indian Jugaad. You must have seen guys using webcam for shaving or a lassi in a washing machine or a truck wheel under bullock cart. So we Indians are innovative, we are creative. So that is for certain. This definitely gives that idea. Now, if that is the case, then we are good at maths, we are good at science, we are creative people. Then let's look at that Indian market. Why don't we have then made in India products? See, if we are so good, then let's say the market of consumer electronics. It is really, really powered by Taiwan or Southeast Asia. The defense is completely powered by German and US. And even in healthcare, the right side that you see to your screen, implants or medical devices, that also is not very driven by Indian market owners or medical devices which are made in India. So if we are creative and we do not have products, so what is the gap then? So why is there a gap which exists like this? So let me move on to my next slide, where this is typically what you would see as what are called as valleys of death. So typically left hand side, you'll see a concept. A lot of people have ideas. You all must be having ideas. A lot of people have concepts that I wish there was something like that. Is where it germinates. That is where it starts. But then from an idea to a POC, POC is a proof of concept. Usually ideation takes place from a concept to a proof of concept. It happens in a laboratory. Now that is what is the journey for any product which happens. So typically a proof of concept, what you call a kacha pakka or a small jugaad is made. But from that POC to prototype, invention happens because there is a new way of doing something happens. This is what prototyping labs or institutes which offer prototyping can get you into. But now from prototype to product, there is a bigger valley of death. Now this valley of death is where most of these ideas or innovations will die, because you must have seen a lot of people around and you yourself must have experienced. I had an idea, but then why is there no product and why the product is not in market? Because impaction happens only if there is a product which is ready and that product has reached the people it was designed for. Now these require a lot of effort. So if you see the bottom part of the slide, typically you can make an early proof of concept in about 50,000 rupees, especially medical devices. But to make a prototype, you need 1 degree more, 5 lakh rupees around. But if you want to make really a product from a prototype, there's a lot of effort which goes into design for manufacturing, design for assembly, testing. All that requires even more efforts, more energy, which is about 50 lakh rupees. But to make it from a product to market, it takes even more amount of effort. You need salespeople, you need distribution network, you need servicing, engineers, production lines. So supply chain has to be established. So that is even one order up. So that is about 5 crore rupees. So if you see, we all may have great ideas, but the reason why we don't have great products and that not reaching the people it was designed for, this is one of the reasons that we are not able to cross these valleys of death. And on the bottom line that you'll see, there is something called as TRL, that is technology readiness level from 1 to 10. Typically at an idea level, technology readiness level is about 1. But the moment you hit the market and it is actually used by people, the technology readiness level is 9. This is a borrowed concept from aerospace. So that is one of the reasons, although we are creative, we are good at it, our ideas or products have not gone forward. Now the second part of it is that Indian medical device market itself, if you see healthcare, and you must be medical students who will be seeing these machines around, and you'll recognize most of them. So CT scan machines, MRI machines, implant, diagnostic devices. India as a market itself is huge. So we have about 48,000 crore rupees worth of market. That is what is India's potential. And India's healthcare expenditure is relatively low. But the problem here is that 75 to 80% of the medical device market in India is import. So we only make our 15 to 20% of market share. Those are the only goods which are manufactured in India. So you'll see most of the consumable parts, blood bags, those are the only things which are manufactured in India. And the most high worthy equipment still is imported from a country. So the way I try to put it is that as a country, we are bleeding 40,000 crore rupees worth per year because we are not developing and manufacturing our own devices. So that is the reason why there is a gap, why this doesn't happen. Now, so do we blame that? No, there is, we try to analyze that. So if you see, the Indian medical device industry is actually in a very nascent stage. It's right in the middle, it's in a pink stage. On the left side, you'll see that it is getting kind of bombarded with West imported high quality implants from US, Europe. These are high quality implants. So Indian medical device industry is not able to match the quality. And from the right hand side, where from East, there are low cost or very affordable devices are coming in. And Indian regulations, medical device regulations have just kicked in from 2018. So whatever medical devices were made in India now are even further regulated, strictly followed to standards. So that is another pressing pressure which is coming on the industry. So which makes it difficult for an Indian medical device industry to come out with a new product. However, there is some silver lining. It's not as bad. On the left side, you will see that there is still a market pull, which means that doctors still need better devices. Patients still need a better, more suitable device. There has to be more high quality and reliable devices and affordable and adaptable, which is a constant requirement from the medical side. But on the right hand side, which is the good part for this medical device industry, is that Indians are good at all these technologies which are currently available. So 3D scanning, CAD, 3D printing, virtual, augmented reality, software, cloud, Internet of Things, AI, machine learning. Fortunately, India is on the edge of this cusp, and we are actually good at these things. And that is exactly what is required for medical device innovation. That if we use what we are good at, then it really becomes successful. So the key step forward is actually making innovative products, not just copying an existing device and making cheaper version of it by using the right technology. It is about making an innovative device, solving the right kind of problem. Now, how does product innovation happens? The bottom part, if you see that if you have people from the domain, which is expertise, let's say doctors or clinicians working with physics or science people, with design, engineering, technology, social, all these people, if they come together, that is when this collision happens of minds, when all these interdisciplinary people come together. That is exactly where innovation comes in picture. Otherwise, it's very difficult for one stream guy or one particular area guy to come out with an innovation. This field is like that. Medical devices brings in all sorts of people together: engineers, doctors, businessmen, entrepreneurs, social, because it is to do with lives as well as health. That is where it's a beautiful field to work on. Now, what at Betic we tried to do was we tried from the top part, tried to get government linked with the left side, which is hospitals, with the right side, which is industries, and the bottom side, which is academia. So we tried to club these all people together, where we said on the left hand side, the green part, the doctors will give us good clinical problems or medical problems. We'll have good clinical feedback from them, as well as human studies or any trials have to be done. That will be the support from the doctors. From the right hand side, the industry will help us in manufacturing, production, distribution. The government on top will help us with policies and regulatory approvals. And from the bottom side, academia can lead towards product development by identifying innovators, train new generation innovators in biomedical devices. And that is how we thought that on the left bottom, you'll see interdisciplinary people working together. To the right side, where we got this institute also working together with each. So these are the stakeholders in any medical device innovation game, which are usually there. Now, the next part is just a glimpse of a humble lab which we have in IIT Bombay. It's a small shed. So we have a small idea room where idea to reality happens, quick prototyping happens. We have a virtual prototyping lab. We have a plastic prototyping lab, and an electronics prototyping lab. Now, we're just presenting it because with Corona pandemic, it's difficult to visit labs. So this just gives you an internal glimpse of what we do. But on the star mark of this is it's probably one of the first labs in an academic setting in India, which is ISO 13485, which means that we actually went ahead. We just didn't make prototypes of medical devices, but we also made it as per what the standard says. Because with standards comes quality, and with quality comes confidence, and that is how you say an Indian medical device is good or bad. If it meets the standards, then it is good. It is following all the safety standards what is supposed to. So the lab is actually, we took painstaking efforts of 2 years and got it certified. So all the processes that we do are as per international standards. So I'll just try to give you an overall. So the lab also has additional pilot manufacturing small hub, which we have created. We also have a 3D metal printing lab where we can directly print titanium alloy implants. And we also have our partners where there is human biomechanics gate lab also at MGM Vashi. So these are some of the partners, like we have VNIT Nagpur, where also there is a Betic lab. They also have similar facilities. And we also have College of Engineering Pune, which also has similar facilities. Now, during our journey, a lot of partners have joined in. So we have these partners with similar facilities at different cities in Maharashtra itself, where these medical device innovations can happen. This is our typical pipeline. So we try and say, how do we begin? So we say doctors, potential innovators, and partner institutes come together in something called as MEDHA. MEDHA is the left side that you'll see is a hackathon. It's a weekend hackathon, 2 days, where 40 people come in together, 10 doctors, 10 mechanical engineers, 10 electronics engineers, and 10 entrepreneurs. We put them together, and each team has 4 people, each of these different kind, and each team develops a prototype in just 2 nights, which is literally 30-36 hours. They brainstorm and they actually come out with a physical prototype by solving a unmet clinical need or a problem which exists. If that works out, they're further interested. We do these hackathons in 3 different cities. If that works out, then we bring them to Medic, which is a 5-day camp. This camp is something which is more like a military camp, where again there are 60 people chosen different, 15 doctors, 15 mechanical, 15 electronics, and 15 entrepreneurs or designers. We put them together for 5 days and 4 nights. Nobody sleeps, and we actually come out with 15 devices. So each team makes one device of different kind, as in they work on different problems which are given pre-curated, and they actually develop it. Now, if the prototype is fine and they get a good feedback from live jury, which are doctors, industry which comes, investors who come, and if they really like the product and there's a positive feedback, they want to take it forward. The team wants to take it forward. That is when they come to Betic and they join us for a year. There's a fellowship. Then you develop the whole product from start to end in 1 year. Then you exhibit in a medical device exhibition. If that works out, you get good feedback. Then you go to an incubator. So IIT Bombay has its own incubator called Sign, and it is where you start your company, and then further you take it and go forward. Typically, this low cost, low risk devices, class A, class B, usually takes about a year or 3 to go from stage 1 to the last stage, what you're seeing on the screen. These are some of the happy pictures of the hackathon. So I'm not just saying that we do hackathons, you'll see those images. These are the pictures of doctors, engineers, researchers, scientists, all working together over that 2 days and developing devices. These are happening at different cities, Mumbai, Pune, Kolhapur, which we did in last few years. A typical camp is something which looks like this, where again, we did we have trained more than 300 people, where doctors, engineers work together and develop. So you'll see the top row, all are involved in developing those devices. So nobody sleeps, they work continuously and actually come out with a prototype in that 5 days. So it is possible to innovate in India, and brilliant products have come out. That's our team at IIT Bombay. Again, people from various design background, biomedical background, electronics background, manufacturing background, quality background. So these all work together. We have beautiful networks with our hospitals, Hinduja Hospital, then we have KJ Somaya Medical Hospital, we have Reliance Hospital. So there are various hospitals that we work very closely with, and these doctors also work closely with our engineers, and we develop devices. That is our secret sauce. In case you are not interested so far, this is what actually brings us. That we have actually developed a process. How do you innovate a medical device in India? How do you go from that idea to actually a product? So we divided into 4 steps: the define, develop, deliver, deploy. And this is what we have practiced over years. And that has got us from 400 problems or unmet clinical needs that we collected in last 5 years from various doctors, to about 200 prototypes that we have made of different devices, to 50 functional prototypes and 50 patents filed, to about 20 products which have reached the people it was designed for. So we have about 11 to 15 startups which have come out of Betic, and we have about 20 products now reaching the people it was designed for. So this is more or less possible because it's a very systematic process which starts with team building to detailed design to manufacturing to IP management. And I'll go into detail of that, which may be more useful to you guys if you ever decide to go into this. These are some of the devices which we ended up developing. So why do you have to listen to me? These are the devices that will speak rather. So from the left hand side, if you'll see, from the human body, from glaucoma screening for eye to jaw relation to endotracheal tube blockage detection to smart stethoscope to surgery planner to biopsy gun to diabetic foot to club foot, and on the right hand side to nasal forceps to temporal bone implants to laparoscopic instruments, screen spray gun, and prosthetic legs and hybrid splints. So this is what we have already done. These devices, whatever is red, you can see these are the startups, these are companies. innovators have developed the device in Betic and have started a company, and they are in market now. So they speak for us. So this is what we could do in last 5 years, and some of these devices have also been licensed to Indian manufacturers. So we also empower Indian manufacturers by giving them a novel, innovative IP-based product also. So these are some of the examples of the devices we developed. This story probably you will hear in the coming few days of Adarsha, who actually is a young entrepreneur. And on the left hand side top is actually an image from one of the camps which we did, 5 days, 4 nights. Other side is electronics, other side is electrical engineer. We have an electronics engineer and a doctor in the left image. They worked together to develop a device which can help you with remote auscultation. Such a small idea that if you want to hear heart and lung sounds from a far away, how do you do it without really being in proximity with the patient? It started, they made the first proof of concept, the second image on the top. They then further said that we want to leave our jobs. So Adarsha left L&T, Tapas left Intel, and they then joined Betic and then started developing this device. It took about a year and a half for them to come out with a functional device. A lot of doctor visits, industry visits, hospital visits. And to an extent, I'll not steal away the story, probably you'll hear from himself, that now the device is in market. There is a company which is formed. Already 1,000 plus devices already in market and a lot of people benefiting, especially in COVID. Now it has become actually a high demand product because you don't have to touch. There is Bluetooth. So there is literally a distance between the patient and the doctor, and still you can hear the heart and lung sounds very crisp and clear. But that is one story. We have many such stories. So second story is about a young engineer and a doctor who wanted to work on diabetic foot screening device. So this device is something which helps you early identification of neuropathy neuropathy ulcer. So if somebody is diabetic and they end up having an ulcer, if that can be identified early, then it really helps. So every 30 seconds there's an amputation because of diabetes. So they wanted to work, the doctor engineer wanted to work and develop a device which can identify before an ulcer forms, can there be a marker which can tell you. So this device on the left, what you see is now made, it's in clinical study. The patient just has to put their foot onto it and it helps you understand what is the signature of that foot, and that signature related whether an ulcer is going to form or not. So it helps you in early screening of ulcerations. There's one more device which is about glaucoma. Now in glaucoma, intraocular pressure of the eye increases and that ends up where a patient or a person may go blind. So again, a doctor and engineer started working, and this is from our BNIT center, where they made a device. Earlier devices for glaucoma screening they have to put a dilator in the eye. So 20 minutes before the procedure, you have to put a dilation. Then for an hour, you're not able to see. On top of that, you have to touch the cornea. Now here in public screening, we have a large population. These devices don't work. You have to be in a clinical setting to do this. So what our innovators did was, now they developed a device where you just close your eye, on top of it, it touches and it tells you whether the intraocular pressure is high or not. So it's a brilliant concept, again a novel device, and there's a company which is formed for this. This is a laparoscopic instrument where during a surgery, laparoscopy, there are long instruments. So only 3 holes are made, camera is put. But because you have long instruments, the incision has been reduced. But the disadvantage is now that you have lost your freedom. What we did was we developed a device with Dr. Suresh Deshpande, and he's a leading surgeon, who said that, can you give me my wrist back in the patient's body? So now we have made a device where this laparoscopic instrument, although it is straight, it goes, and inside it actually has all the 360-degree movement and bending also, as well as opening and closing. So we have given him 7 degrees of freedom in just 10 mm inside the body. This has been licensed to an industry, medical device industry in India, and they are now commercializing. Again, one more device, biopsy gun. We made a device to take a tissue sample of cancerous patient, and this gun is now trying to reduce the inventory. So you have disposable gun, you have a reusable gun, then you have variable gauge lengths, you have different needle. We have made a device, and the mechanism is designed in such a way that it's a reusable gun. Instead of the patient getting charged for the whole gun and the needle, which is about 3,000 rupees, now we made a device where you open the device, load the needle, do the biopsy, remove the needle, and that needle gets disposed. The whole device can be autoclaved, sterilized, and reused. which means the patient only gets charged few hundred rupees for the needle rather than few thousand rupees. The next device is about clubfoot, where children who have club feet, the feet are turned inward. After the Ponsonby's method, correction is done after plaster, the feet are back, but these feet need to be in position for about 20 to 23 hours per day when the child is non-weight bearing. So child is on the back, and that is where you need these feet to be in place. So there is a brace, what you see at the bottom side. Now this brace, the problem is Indian parents being Indian parents, sometimes when it is told that you have to wear it 23 hours and this is to be done for a couple of months, the recurrence will not happen. But unfortunately, sometimes it is put for 14 hours, 16 hours, sometimes it's Dashera, so let's remove it. So that is the problem, and a lot of kids came with the feet turned inward. And that is where the doctor and the engineers started working together. And they said, can we monitor whether the brace has been worn or not and how long it has been worn? And that we started monitoring through IoT. And that is where now during the week itself, the doctor or the nurses can make a call to the parents, seeing on the dashboard that, look, this week you just were not able to put the feet properly. Please ensure that happens. Otherwise, this will return back when the child becomes weight bearing. So that is something which is very advantageous, and it helps you prevent that recurrence also. So we have had a clinical study of 90 kids now and zero reoccurrence in any of the kids. So this is a very good device which have already reached the people. This is one more very passionate story. The left side is an innovator who developed a knee, foot, ankle orthosis for polio patients. Although polio is eradicated, still there are patients, about 1 to 2 million polio patients already in the country. And most of the patients have to wear a standard brace which doesn't bend. So they cannot do cycling, they cannot directly bend. If they want to sit on a chair, they have to manually unlock with hand. And they cannot walk fast, they cannot walk with stairs. So there is a limitation with their lifestyle which happens. They can't walk on slopes. So what this innovator did was, he developed a orthosis. The moment you put your weight onto it while walking, it locks. The moment you release your weight on it, it swings. So you can actually have your normal gait back, and it is designed in a manner that you can just wear your clothes over it. So nobody can tell you whether you're actually wearing a brace, and it gives you more functionality. You can directly sit. You don't have to unlock anything with your hands, and your hands are free. Brilliant innovation. And it is very inspiring because the innovator himself is a polio patient who could empathize with the problem, and because he could not get a good brace, he decided that he wants to develop it himself, and we supported and we developed it along with him. Now he has formed a company, and this brace received a BioIgnition grant award of 50 lakhs, and they are taking it all the way forward now. So again, a brilliant story. And to give you an idea, he is not even 12th pass, but he's creative, he's brilliant, he's able to empathize with the problem, understand it, and he's living it. And now he's even developing a solution so that any other polio patient also benefits from it. So it's not about an idea that he made from himself. He's making a device which can help all the polio patients that can be there. This is again above knee prosthesis, where if you have an above knee amputation, then the current procedure is that on the left hand side, you'll see the patient has to come to one of the trauma centers, then plaster of Paris is put, then a negative is made, then again a positive is made, and then the socket is made, and then the leg is fitted. This is a very cumbersome process. It takes about a day. If you come in the morning, by the end of the day, you get a leg. So we are working with Ratnanidhi Charitable Trust, who provide these legs free of cost. Unfortunately, what they said that it takes a lot of time, and can technology intervene, and the patient has to travel all the way to their center. So all the suburb areas, rural areas, they have to travel to Mumbai to this place to get this leg. So what we did was, our engineers, researchers, and scholars, they work together. Now we have a process where the patient at his home, the social worker goes, takes 16 measurements, SMS those, comes to cloud. We develop the 3D model of the patient. We actually fabricate the leg and courier the leg back to the patient. And that is fitted at the patient at his house or at the camp which is near to his house. So patient doesn't have to travel, information travels. That's a brilliant innovation. This received a Google Challenge Award, and now 1,000 patients are going to receive free of cost leg through this process. This is another brilliant story from Pune, where if a kid falls in school, today also we just put some wooden rods, or we tie it and then carry the kid from one place to the primary healthcare center. Now, most of the secondary damages happen in this transition period, and that is where this innovation comes in picture. What is developed is, again, the engineer with the doctor. It's a splint, it's a roll. You just dip it in water, squeeze it and apply. Within 3 to 5 minutes, it just hardens immediately. As you can see in the image, that you can maintain the primary posture that you want till you carry from one place to another. This helps in early immobilization. So again, a brilliant story. Innovator has developed the device already in market, and now it's coming in hospitals. We also are now onto custom implants, where patient-specific implants, to make sure that during surgery they don't have to bend implants. It's a prefabricated to the patient size, matching to the anatomy of the patient, and we have a whole facility of actually printing titanium alloy implants also in place. But that's more or less of some of the stories which I tried to give you in that time. And we also hold exhibitions where we display these devices which are developed by these innovators, collect feedback so they can improve on it. And these are the people, happy faces that you'll see, devices, doctors, patients, all working together to make sure medical device innovations work. This is in case you had not been able to relate to what it is, or you are more keen now, okay, what is this process? I'll just give you 4 slides about this: define, develop, deliver, deploy, which you can also apply, and you can also come out that idea to device. What are the key steps required? So typically it starts with a team building. That is how you start. Try to get a person, if you ever want to develop a medical device, try to get these 4 different kinds of people. Usually there has to be a clinician or a biomedical engineer who can understand medical domain. You should have a designer or an industrial designer who can understand the user aspect, ergonomics, product feature. You should have a mechanical and a manufacturing engineer who can understand how do you build it, and an electronics and a software engineer that if you want to put sensors and software, how do you do it? Ideally, this team has to be there. Then you have a beautiful medical device coming along. It becomes more efficient to make out and come out with these devices. Then this define what I'm saying, that is a very critical step, is to get involved in the clinical domain. Immersion has to be there. So you cannot sit in a lab or in some engineering drawing hall and imagine that what will be the problem for the doctor or the patient. You have to go there, you have to understand it, you have to bring engineers in your clinical setting, because most of the time what we think is a problem may not be the problem. So that's where once you bring different people in that working environment, they ask questions like who, what, when, where, how, and then ask why 3 times at least. You'll come to the problem that what exactly needs to be developed. So this is our key learnings which we have had, and that has helped us. To give you an example, let's say well-defined problem statements are the, I would say, the most important part of this medical device innovation journey or experience that we have had. This leads to well-designed products. So whenever you define a statement, write it down that this is the statement, this is what we want to develop. Example, like a portable cabinet to safely store medicines in rural hospitals. Write it down, because if you don't write rural hospitals, and then it means that is it for urban hospitals also. Safely store means it captures that the temperature has to be right, vibrations have to be taken care. Portable cabinet means that it has to be carryable, weight has to be less than 10 kgs, it should be easily carried, power should be there. So if you define it very well, your functional requirements, the specifications also start coming, and then you start developing. Don't start developing is what we try to say. The moment you say that, oh, I have a problem and let me develop something. No, write it down, define the problem, spend time that why do you need it, why do you need it. So this is a key learning that we have had in the define phase, the first part. Then comes the concepts, which will start after you have defined it very well. Then you start drawing it, and make sure that whenever you choose a problem, it is a significant local need. There is a benefit or a great amount of benefit, not just a minor increment into something. You have the capability or the resources to develop it, and you have a committed team of all these 4 different people working together. Otherwise, it will just be, it will die its natural death halfway through. So that's the first part of the define. The second part is develop, where use your engineering friends. Try to do CAD modeling, computer simulations, finite element analysis, testing virtually. soft prototypes, plastic prototypes, then go into metal prototypes. So these are different stages in develop. So go stage by stage is what is our learning also, which helps you identify your gaps much earlier. Then make sure the deliver stage is not skipped, which again is a major gap we have seen in Indian medical devices. Do not skip the past part of testing. In fact, it becomes one of the most emphasis step that we say, that if you do not test your device as per the regulatory standards or international standards, you will never have the quality that is supposed to be. So if it is supposed to be tested for biological, mechanical, electrical efficacy, please test it. All these are absolutely necessary, mandatory. Don't say, but my device will work. Just like that, it doesn't work. Testing the data record should say that your device has been proven to be safe or effective. And then the last part, which most innovators are not good at, they think that if I made the device, it's just going to be $1 million sale and everybody's just waiting in the world for buying my device. That doesn't happen. You have to build that properly. You have to have a proper business model, operations. You have to have funds for doing that. If you want to make a device for profit, then you have to have a startup. If you want to make it open source so anybody can do it, then it is a not-for-profit organization, or you license it to any other company who wants to make it out of it. So there are different kinds of funds that you will see. Personal funds you will start initially, but then angel funds come in picture. There are people who say, I have some money, explore it, maybe it will work. But then if you get serious, then comes venture funds and then private equity. But all this requires a proper business model, which you can try and plan it before even you start product development. One of you has to wear the entrepreneur hat to make sure a device works. Otherwise, you may have a great device, but no way of making sure it reaches the people. It doesn't work. Just putting your device on a website is not going to sell. This is medical device. It takes more efforts. So the overall impact, why should whatever we are saying, why there is some meaning? Because it's a learning, it's an experience that we have had. So far we have about 14 centers in Maharashtra, which have been there. We have about more than 120 experts who are working with us, more than 60 innovators and trained and nurtured and supported, trained more than 750 people. We have about the BioIgnition grant from BIRAC, 12 times. So 12 startups have come out of this. We have different awards that you can see, from Google Challenge to other Indo-Swiss AIT awards. Filed more than 50 plus patents, national, international, 20 products developed. So there is some experience and learning that we have got, which probably we think that could be useful, is what I have tried to share. We also have some best practices, which I'll just share. There is a book we also wrote down. So Professor Ravi, who is the in charge of BETIC, Biomedical Engineering Technology Incubation Center, he's also a professor of mechanical engineering. He has beautifully penned down all the experiences and all the devices, as well as how do you develop an innovative device in India. The book is on the left-hand side that you'll see, The Essence of Medical Device Innovation by Professor Ravi. It's available online also. That's the certificate for ISO 13485, which our lab has got. We also keep sharing our best practices through whatever media, press that we can, and through all these mediums. That's our network. Whatever the closest that you can see around you, we have center in Pune, we have center in Nagpur, we have one in KJ Somaiya, MIT, ADT, Pune, Raisoni. So all these are names that you will see, even in hospitals. So that maybe you'll see JJ Hospital, then you'll see MGM Hospital, BJ Medical. So these are some of the places where we already have reached, and these people are aware of our practices. You can always reach out to them if you can't directly reach out to us if you need anything. Again, we say that first is necessary is infrastructure. For if you want to build such a innovation mindset, have an infrastructure, have good procedures, and then have the right kind of people working together. And the most important part is the culture. Collaborate, come out of your comfort zone. Although if you are a doctor or engineer, try to go to the other zone, try to understand that, try to learn their terminologies. There are going to be risks and there are going to be failures, but that is where it will lead to innovations also. So try to create a very positive culture among yourself, and always keep the end user, which is probably the patient or the doctor, at the center of all of this development, so you don't lose focus on this. This is some practices which we have done and has worked. So that's somebody. If somebody asks me the DNA of Betic, it is more like people, places together, and processes and purpose together. So doctors, hospitals, researchers, entrepreneurs, and investors in hospital, institutes, and incubator industry define, develop, deliver, deploy the problem by creating concepts, prototype products, and usage. So that is where ideation, invention, innovation, and impaction is really critical, and that happens if you have all these ingredients together. Uh, just to give you the last slide, so if you want the right results, this is again something which we have learned, and it's a giving from Professor B. Ravi, and I'm fortunate that I'm very close to him, that I was able to learn this firsthand. So if you want the right results, you need the right actions, but for right actions, you need the right vision, and for right vision, you need the right intention. The intention comes from empathy with the user or the patient or the doctor, understanding their problem. Vision comes gives you knowledge. Actions require effort, and results are a combination of dedication. So that's all I have. This is pretty much my learning and our learning at Betic at IIT Bombay. How do you develop medical devices from idea to concept? But thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. This was a really great session. We had learned a lot. We have few questions in the chat box from the students. So first of all, that some are asking that whether they can visit the Betic lab.
Visit the Betic lab. So Mumbai is the hotspot right now of pandemic, corona. So traveling is, we are trying to do social distancing, trying to avoid. IIT is still under lockdown, but probably when the pandemic is over, or at least the restrictions are over and safety measures are in place, you're most welcome. But currently it is under lockdown, so not immediately. Not immediately.
So, like, is there any specific process which one has to follow, or anyone can visit, or how is it about?
We have a website called betic.org. There are emails there. You can just write, and we can just try and respond as much as possible.
So there is some like there was the various projects which you mentioned, the programs. How one can participate? Someone has asked that how we can participate in that program.
Yeah. So usually the hackathons is where it starts, or the camp, and that we have put on our websites also whenever the dates come. Hackathons are usually in June, July, and the camp, medical device camp, is usually in September, October. But this year we were not able to. For 5 years we continuously did. Only this year we did not. But we are trying to plan something for September end and October start. Maybe a virtual camp is what we are planning. So again, website is a good place to see. Or the institute which I mentioned, if you are there, you can also get in touch with those centers and ask them if there is any updates also.
So there is one question that in current scenarios, primary research and observations from a hospital are challenged today, especially like. So can you share some insight on how to face these issues? Like we as a student, like in our hospital setups, we are not getting exposed to much of the innovative environment and how we can work on that.
Again, say being so again, it's not about that you're not in an innovative environment. That is a challenge, and you say I will be innovative enough now to create an environment which is going to be helpful for me. So you may have to become creative to support what you're doing. You may find one person who listens to you, or you may find only two people who say that okay, what you say is making sense, or there may be 98% people who will say this doesn't make sense. Why are you wasting your energy? That's okay. They are doing what they're supposed to. You are doing what you are supposed to. So to make it innovative, it is going to be challenge, and that's why you don't find all 100 people doing innovation, right? These are few people who take up this challenge. They see things differently. It's a hard path. It is a difficult path. It needs perseverance, dedication, as I said. But please do not lose it. Maybe 10 people will write email and maybe only one will reply, which is also okay. But that is how difficult innovation is. Because if people would have seen it very clearly, everybody have just put money onto it. It is very difficult to see that, and you are able to see it. So please do not leave it. Try to pursue it, but don't fall in love with your solutions. Fall in love with your problems. So say that this is the problem I want to solve. There can be solution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter. Don't say my idea is the only one. If you fall in love with your solutions, you will block that hammer is the only one solution which will solve all problems. That doesn't work. Be receptive.
So there was one someone was put up that if some he had a problem and solution to a problem, so whom should he contact and how to go about that?
So again, that is the reason why I'm saying this becomes overwhelming that we get a lot of responses, but finally we are a bunch of people. There are only 24 hours in a day, so we can only do small things at a time. However, hackathons and camps is where we try to bring in new problems or in people who want to work together. That is where we start putting them together, and they start that if all these 40 people, 60 people that we put together, or 100 people we put together, they all had some idea, they work together to solve it, and then they pitch it in front of people who have done something similar, and then they get the right kind of feedback. So that is how usually we do through hackathon and camp. But you are always welcome to write to us. The website has email addresses, or you can share my email address with them. That is also okay. You can write. It will be overwhelming, but I'll try to respond as much as possible with whatever I get.
Sir, Samit asked that as medical student, do we get a chance to become a part of BETIC?
Yes, we have had doctors working in the lab, part of Medhan hackathon. As I said, the hackathon and camps, the hackathons have 1/4 as doctors. The camp also has 1/4 as doctors. Absolutely, they've all had experiences where they participated, developed devices, and each device that we have developed so far, a doctor has to be a part. Is what we say. Start is that the doctor has to be part of the problem and also the solution, not just the problem. Saying, "Can you solve it?" Has to be part of it. It is
As a
possible.
medical students, can we like as a doctors post MBBS, they can like
Yes, yes.
undergrads, first year, second year students as well.
I'll just share one experience. So I had one of the MBBS students. So during the camp, the 5-day, 4 nights, again, one of the late nights, we saw one guy running, and then we saw that he was soldering for everybody. So there were 15 teams, and 15 teams had 15 doctors, 15 mechanical engineers, 15 electronics, and 15 designers. But this guy was asking, okay, do you need any soldering? And people were coming and he was soldering. And then I realized, so I asked him, are you not an MBBS student? So he said, yes, but I got so excited with soldering that he helped all night anybody who needed soldering. He said, I did soldering for the first time in my life. And if that is what I can contribute to somebody, he said, I would love to. But that's the spirit, as in that is what we say that it's not that I am the doctor and I only give the clinical problem. It's a team, and you can contribute anywhere. As in first year, second year, as I told you, we have somebody who's not even 12th pass, who has innovated, developed a device, started a company, and won a bioignition grant award. So it is possible to do that.
Actually, there are some students asking about the eligibility for hackathon and Medha. I guess we can direct them to the BETIC website, and from there they can get the details
Yes.
for when and
Usually,
eligibility.
because this year we did not post, so you may not have anything. But the website is the right place for eligibilities. Usually, MBBS students is clear enough. Engineering, we don't take first year, second year. We say maybe fourth year or above for hackathons. For camps, we say working professionals.
So also, sir, you mentioned about the knee, ankle, foot orthosis. So that is like there was something mentioned about the cerebral palsy. So is it available for them as well, or is it just for the polio people? So can you
So
just
it started again, as I said, the innovator who started, he started as a polio patient, and he said, "I want to make a brace for polio patient." Now he fell in love with his solution. That he said, "No, it has to be a foot ankle braces for polio." Whereas there was a doctor who told him that, look, what you're making actually can be used for cerebral palsy patients also. So anybody who has muscle weakness and +2 power, it can help them to actually walk or get up from chair. That is where he opened up possibilities, and then he interviewed 100+ people, including doctors, physiotherapists, ONPs, to understand who all may need something like this, what are their problems, and that is very categorized. That's the market survey. It's not that 2 doctors or 4 doctors said you can use it, and he said no, that's how you use it. It is always based on data, where you have to do your research and even ask 100 people. No, he was the only one who got a standing clapping ovation, where when it was asked at least speak to 100, he did 110 people. So if somebody is 12th pass, not even 12th pass, can talk to 100 people who are, everybody is more educated than him, I don't know, maybe more, has more degrees than him, but he was able to understand what is your problem and he was able to pen down properly. So that's, I see that as an inspiration, that if he can do it, I'm sure we all can understand and talk to people. He also spoke to hospitals, what are their problems. He also spoke to clinic, what are their problems. So just because he made a device and he said everybody should use, no. Everybody had a different problem. Technicians had a different problem.
So people are asking that if they are outside Maharashtra, is there any plan to expand Medha workshop outside Maharashtra?
So we have done one hackathon in Bangalore. We have also trained some people who are not in Maharashtra. They have gone back and started. So IIT Kharagpur, somebody has started. Then in Gujarat, there are some centers who have started. So we have trained people, but the hackathon and camps are not only restricted to Maharashtra. Hackathon and camps have people from all over India who participate. So all over India, people come for the hackathon and camp. Not restricted to Maharashtra.
So like students can come to Mumbai or in the wherever the workshops can be, they can attend.
They can do.
So physiotherapies can be a part of this. I don't know. There is some.
Yeah, as in, the way we see is that there is somebody who's in trouble. It's a user. There is a patient who is in pain. We also have Ayurvedic devices developing. Nadi Pariksha device. Unani is also something which is coming in, but it's not limited. So we are domain agnostic. As in, when I say innovators or creators have to be like that. Somebody who's in pain, you see that as a challenge and you say, can I make a device to help it?
Okay. So guys, I guess this is done with the questions. So also there was one question like someone has asked that if you can tell a bit about the MMHT program.
So we try to focus on innovation rather than the formalities which come with the course are slightly more heavier. So the first 5 years we focused on developing devices. So it was not about can somebody get a certificate at the end of it. Most of us were like focused, let's make a device, let's make those devices and make sure it reaches. But now there is a fellowship program which may start probably January onwards, still in talks. It may not be an MSc program, but a fellowship program. For a year, you will become a fellow, you'll develop a device. There are some procedures to get into that. We're just streamlining those, and hopefully by January we may announce. But again, because of the pandemic situation, I do not know whether it will be January or it will be July. But we are starting something where it will be a fellowship. So there will be maybe 12 fellows that will choose to take it forward.
Thank you so much, sir. And also, I don't know if someone has put up that if someone has an idea but has the lack of time, so is there any way that they can share their ideas to someone and how to go about that?
Yeah, a lot of people have ideas. So I usually I say that if you are not willing to put your skin in the game, how do you expect others to put the skin in game? So but there is no harm in sharing it, but usually I don't entertain it. As in, I say that it's almost like you're saying, my baby, you raise it. Doesn't happen. As in, if you are not so passionate and you're not so keen on developing it yourself, then how do you expect people to trust in it? Which is where I feel that if it is so important and so impactful, then you also have to be part of it. You have to be equally part of it. Then go along with it. Why not?
Yes, sir. So that is a something point that if I'm not even interested, but if anything hasn't, but they can give them a mail or they can write it out if anyone would be interested.
Just put it open. Then let the world take the benefit. Sitting with you is not going to help anybody. Put it out in open. Anybody that says, mail to everybody, this is what it is. Anybody who likes can work on it. Put it out. That is what is open source. Let somebody take benefit of it and reach it.
Yes. I guess we have come to the end of this session. So it was really and amazing and a motivational session. We have come across some things which we were even not aware, and we were not even thinking. We couldn't even thought that yeah, some device can detect whether ulcer will develop or not, or whether a polio person or a cerebral palsy person would able to walk. That is something that one we should doctors we even if we are not even this session we can say that even if we are not even able enough to be innovate something, but we should be aware about what else is happening around us so that we can be benefited of it, like in laparoscopic surgeries and all that. We are generally seeing that long that devices, but uh, the things which we see but you taught were really helpful. So thank you so much, sir, and thank you for accepting us and joining us. We know you are really busy with your schedule and with your activities. Really, thank you so much for
No,
joining
no,
us.
thank you very much, and really enjoyed the session. Good questions. And the idea here was that you guys are the front line. If you start questioning, say once somebody is 20-year-old and practicing, difficult for them to ask that. Okay, I've been doing it like this. Why do I want to try a new way? You are on the front line. If that seed goes even in 2 or 5 of you, that ask why and why not. That why can't there be a better way of doing something? If you strive for that, I think that is sufficient. That number is sufficient to change what is supposed to be. So question it. Sorry, it's just the time wise announcing probably not here, but we were working on a ventilator, so it's in a good shape now. So again, only for not for a public forum like this, but once it is developed properly, it comes out, we'll inform everyone. But thank you very much for being host, and this was pleasure. Thank you all for the questions. And any doubts or anything, please do visit the website betic.org. ORG is short for organization. And any time you want to reach out, if I can, please reach out. If I can reply, if I can connect to somebody, I'll try my best to do that.
Thank you so much, sir. We have
You,
received a lot many appreciations from the students, the enlightening session and a great event. So
Hope it
thank you,
was
sir.
useful. Thank you very much.